Welcome to the Runtime Error, the place where programming begins. In this video, we are going to discuss our first collection interface that is called as the list interface in Java. Before we discuss this video, I highly recommend you to watch the lecture number 2 so that you can come to know what are the inbuilt methods for the collection interface which is common to all the collections in whole Java, which is really important because I highly suggest to watch the second video because inbuilt methods which we have discussed in the second lectures will be most useful in our list interface. So without wasting time, let's get started. So as we know that we are going to discuss a list interface in Java. This is the beauty of the list interface in Java. Do you know what? Looking to diagram, we can say that the list interface basically contains four important things. The first one is called the linked list, second one is called as the array list, vector and the stack. And we have already discussed about these terminologies in our introductory video, that is in the first video. Array lists are nothing but the dynamic arrays, that is growing and shrinking of array takes place automatically and programmer or the coder don't need to think about it. Compiler will itself take care of it. Second one is called as a linked list. It is simply the implementation of the doubly linked list. Third one is called as vector and the fourth one is called the stack. Only a problem with the vector and the stack is vector and the stacks are basically designed for the multi-threaded purpose. Therefore, it is highly recommended not to use stack and the vector if you are designing the code for the single threaded purpose. So this is the basic explanation of this property. Now there is one question in this diagram that might come. Then what are these three important boxes present over here? Now I can tell you that you might watch number of diagrams on internet about the Java collections. There might be a possibility that these three classes might be present or might not be present. Now let me tell you what does these three boxes means. So the first means is abstract sequential list, second is called as abstract list, and the third one is called as abstract collections. So these are the abstract classes which contains already implemented material present in them, right? Which is already present implemented in them. We don't need to think about that because those three classes already has all the functionalities which we needed to code the program, right? Now say for example, apart from these four lists, that is array list, linked list, vector and stack, I want to design my special list, right? Say for example, this is a special list I want to design. Let me call it as a list. So this is what I want to design. Now the point is I have designed this list, but from where should I bring all the inbuilt functions, all the terminologies or the explanation part for this list? So can I say that if I attach this line to this abstract list, it will inherit all the properties present in my abstract list, right? Whatever the properties present in my abstract list will also be applicable to my user defined list, right? Now the question comes, from where does the abstract sequential list will contains all the properties? Here we can see the arrow, it is taking from the abstract list. And now again question comes, from where abstract list contains all the properties? From list. And from list, where it is taking? From the collection. This is the reason why I'm telling you that the second lecture is really important, because whatever the inbuilt functions which we have discussed, all the inbuilt functions will be useful in the list interface as well, because list interface mainly inherit from the collection interface. Therefore, whatever the properties collection interface have, all the properties will be have by the list interface as well. So I hope so you understood this diagram. Most interesting point, that is, since we know that the collection also has its own inbuilt method, apart from those inbuilt method which we have discussed in the lecture number 2, list also has their own inbuilt functions which is not present in my collections. So let's check what are those inbuilt functions which are basically meant only for the list. I repeat, only for the list. So these are the inbuilt functions which are meant only for the list interface. These inbuilt functions will not be found in the collection interface. But the point is, whatever the inbuilt functions present in my collection interface, those all be valuable or applicable to this list interface. Now I have declared here the list interface. Now again my problem might come that what does this indicates, how we can declare apart from array list, linked list. Don't need to worry about it because still I haven't reached to that part. Still I'm not taught you how to declare or data type or showcase the list interface. No need to worry about it. This is the beginning of the Java collection. Still we need to go long ahead. So sit straight and watch this video till end so that you can come across a basic concept on the list interface. So I have declared a list interface which is name is ARR. So these are the inbuilt functions which are supposed to discuss, which are meant only for the list interface. So first one is called ARR, which is nothing but the name of my collection. dot get, and I am passing the index. So what does it mean is it simply return the value present at this index. Say for example, I have the values 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Now I want the value present at the second index. Which is the value present at second index? 0, 1, 2. So it will return a 3. So I hope so you got this. Get in simply returns the value present at that index. Now suppose you have passed the index which is not an array. Say for example, I have the index 0, 1, 2 and you have passed the index 4. So simply it will show array out of bound index error. That is a runtime exception. Second one is called as a set. What does the set value indicates? Now say for example, I have the collection called as a 0, 1, 2 and 3. 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And I have the values 7, 8, 9, 2 and 1. Now suppose for at index 2, I want to insert a value called as a 14. So simply what I will do is ARI set what is index 2. What is the value I need to put? 4. So what does it will happen? What it will happen? Believe me, see, watch carefully. Most people will think that this value get vanished or this value get deleted and in place of this it will get 14. No, it will not act like that. In place of this, what will happen? A new array will be created. And how does it look like? 7, 8, 14, 9, 2 and 1. Which means, can I say that my value presented index 2 has been shifted to one position right to it. My 9 was present at index 2. Now my 9 is present at index 3. So this is how the set basically works. Most interesting point that is, now whatever the list I have declared over here, this is the empty list because I have not mentioned a size for this list. Therefore, if you are not mentioning the size of my list, then you cannot use the set function because right now my list is empty and you are trying to show that put this value at this given index. Is it possible that index is not present and you are trying to insert a value in that position? Therefore, again it will show a runtime exception error. Third one is called as the index of value. So it simply returns the index of object you are passing. Again, I am focusing on object because we know that the collection interface, whatever it may be, does not take the primitive data type, but it takes wrapper classes, which are nothing but the object. This is the reason why I am specifying it as object. So say for example, from this array, if I say 14, then what is the index of 14? 0, 1, 2. So it will simply return true. Now again, say for example, here I have 14, right? Again, I have the 14. Now I ask for the value 14. Now which index it will show? Always remember, it will show a first index, that is of this 14. So I hope so you understood index of method. The last one is called as a remove method. Now this remove method is slightly different from the remove method which we discussed in the second lecture, that is in collection interface. Because in the second lecture, whatever the remove we have declared, in that remove, what we used to pass is, we used to pass the object. But if you discuss here or see over here, I am passing as an index. Therefore, these two remove functions are slightly different from each other. So it will simply remove the value present at this given index. So I hope so you understood these four inbuilt functions which are specifically meant for list interface. Now the question comes, Pramod, what does these two functionalities means? That is list iterators and a list iterator. Again, before I try to discuss these two things, I would like to recommend you to watch the lecture number 3 because lecture number 3 is a foundation for the iterators in a collection interface. Without lecture number 3, we cannot study these two functionalities because lecture number 3 was a foundation for these two terminologies. So we have already discussed in the lecture number 3 that iterator has 3 functions, that is has next, second one is called as a next, and last one is called as a remove. I hope so you remember. If you haven't watched lecture number 3, it's not my fault. Go and try first lecture number 3 and then come to this video. So those 3 functionalities we discussed in a collection interface. But apart from those 3 functionalities, list interface has some additional functionalities as example as previous, then come as has previous. So these are the additional functionalities which are not present in my collection interface, but my list interface contains these things. Then called as a set, and it also contains a remove. So this is the beauty of the list interface, which gives you some additional functionalities. Now, as of now, I'm not focusing much on these two terminologies because I'm going to discuss these two things in separate videos. Now, again, question comes, what does this size indicate? So this size is nothing but it is specifically meant to traverse in a reverse order. In lecture number 3, we discussed how to traverse in forward direction, but what about in backward direction? So this is what help us to traverse in a backward directions. As of now, just understand what I have told you. I will discuss these two things in new fresh videos. So this is all about the inbuilt functions of the list interface which was not present in my collection interface. Now let's check out what are the advantages of list interface. As I told you that list interface is a common, right? Because this list interface contains three important collection interface, that is linked list, array list, vector and stack. These are the beauty, right? This is the most important part of the list interface. And one of the biggest advantage of the list interface, whatever the properties inbuilt function present in my list, all the inbuilt functions and the properties will be applicable to all these collection interface, that is list interface. You don't need to write a separate for array list, a separate for linked list. No, all are common to all the list interface. So this is the beauty. So this is the first advantage, that is a common interface. We don't need to write a different method for the different interface, that is different inbuilt functions for array list, different for linked list, different for vector. No, this is common for all the three. So we don't need to remember different functionalities. Rather, if we remember those things, it will be applicable to all the three list interface. Second one is called the parameter passing. This is the beauty, right? I can tell you that, believe me, this is the one of the most biggest advantage of having the list interface. Because now, say for example, I have wrote example over here. Here I have declared a list. I don't know what kind of list I am declaring, but the point is, say for as of now I have declared the array list. You might contain a linked list or vector, and when I'm passing it to the function, I'm passing it only this much value, that is the list integer ll. But the point is, I don't know whether it is a linked list, whether it is a linked list, array list or the vector. But even if you don't know what it is exactly declared, still the compiler will not throw you any kind of error. And this is the beauty of linked list, because list interface, because it adapts array list, linked list and vector. So this is what I have passed the array list to it. It simply accept it. Even if you have declared a linked list over here, it will still accept, because at the end it is nothing but the list interface. And we know that list interface varies or inherits all the three important functionalities, that is linked list, array list, vector and stack. So this is the advantages of the list interface. I hope so. The basic introduction part about the list interface. Still, we haven't began with the list interface. We're going to discuss each and every single thing in detailed manner. As of now, we're going to stop here because otherwise my video length will get increased, right? If you, just in case if you are new to the runtime error, do hit the subscribe button so that I can get motivated and discover some biggest and good content for you. Till then, have a happy coding.